Hey, what's up, you guys? I've been gone a while, probably like 2 weeks, and the only reason is because, like I said, sometimes I want actual things to happen so I could tell you. I'm not just trying to be on here every week telling you some nonsense. So let me go ahead and tell you my backstory. On January 26th, we gave birth to our daughter, Madison. She was stillborn. On the 27th, I got the Depo. I only got one Depo shot. On, when is it? January, February, March, April. April is when the Depo supposed to stop working in my system. And after that, I got the dark brown blood that people say they got. I also had like randomly really bright bleeding, and then I would have another form of a period, I guess you say, another form of bleeding after that. My side effects for the Depo was really dry skin. I had pains in my joints, of course. That's like a real common side effect of the Depo. I had panic attacks, and let me see. So I had a pain in my joints, bleeding, continuously bleeding after dry skin and panic attacks. So I would say about 4 side effects. So fast forward to last month, the end of last month, I got my first, what I thought was like a regular period. It started off really light, meaning like it was pink on a piece of tissue. And then one day I went to the bathroom at work and I wiped, and I was like, I wiped the back. And when I wiped the back, I was like, why is there blood clots? And then I realized that, and I wiped the front, then I realized that I'm actually bleeding, having a period. So it started off really light pink. You know how you could barely see the pink on the tissue. It started off like that. Then from there, it got darker, and it only lasted, I think, 7 days. I think it lasted exactly 7 days. And so I'm thinking that it's a normal period. So after that, you start to ovulate during a certain time. So leading up after that, I thought I was going to ovulate. Turns out I ended up having a second period, which was only, I'll say, maybe 10 days after. So on the 18th, I stopped the period. On the 28th, I started another period. This period was not as, I would say, it's about the same heaviness, where if I was to wear a pad, not saying I was doing this, but if I was to wear a pad all day, it would be dark eventually on the pad, but I would wipe and stuff. And I had, instead of going to Walmart and getting pads, I actually went to this health store, and I seen these other pads that were healthier, I guess you could say. And the exact day that I started wearing them pads, my period stopped. So I would say that period lasted about 7 days. So I've had 2 periods within 10 days of each other. And they were pretty normal, nothing too bad, nothing really painful. But I have an app on my phone that I add, like, the periods, unprotected sex, stuff like that. So I added that on my phone, and I thought that I was going to start having normal periods because of how it showed up. But a lot of people say that after the Depo, they don't have normal periods. They actually have odd periods and things like that. I understand that because before I had the Depo, I had the implant in my arm, and I actually had that years past date because the woman told me it was supposed to last 5 years. I actually had it, I would say, maybe 2 years past the date, but turns out I was only supposed to have it for 3 years. And so it had just, because I was smaller, so it had just enough birth control in it for me not to get pregnant during them years. So I actually had that in my arm for a while. I got it taken out, and I think that I had a period, I would say maybe 5 months after, not even 5 months after, because I think I got it out in October. And then I would say May is when we conceived. Hold on, January, February, March, April, May. So May is when we conceived Madison. So eventually I started having normal periods, and I would say that's 5 months from January. So I would say it's probably 4 or 5 months that it took for me to get a normal period from the implant, and that was with the bare amount of birth control that was left in it. And so I got the Depo this time, and the Depo is, a hormone that's added in your body. It's harder to get rid of, but at the same time, it's the same thing as the implant. It's something that's going to affect your hormones. So lately I've been trying to work out. I don't work out every day because I go to work, and then when I get off, my hip hurts. Like, I have really bad hip pain in my left leg and my left hip, and it'll lock up my knee. And I didn't have it before I was pregnant, but one thing I can say is when I was pregnant, I would get stuck on my back. Like, I would be trying to roll over, get stuck. And so I think that started from me just being pregnant in general. So we've been playing tennis and working out and doing things like that. So I'm really hoping that that will help out. I had stopped eating meat for maybe a week. So like all the spots that I got on my body that's really, really dry skin or really, really bad, like scab skin, it went away. Started eating meat again maybe a week after, it automatically came back. So, and I only drink water at work. So it's like some things that I'm doing is working, and it's keeping my mind off of it. Like, we lost our daughter, so it's very hard to deal with the fact that we lost her. I know energy cannot be destroyed nor created. So she was here before we even knew about her, and she's still here. It's just, you want to hold, kiss, tell them you love them. But as far as working, it helps because I don't feel like I was ready to work in the beginning. I don't think I was ready to work when I got the job, but I still worked it because if I just sit at the house, I get really, really depressed. And then I want something to be coming, like saving to move. We actually are staying at my parents' house, and that's because we got pregnant. We wanted to move to Charlotte, but we wanted to do it in the right way. So I'm actually staying at my parents' house now, and so we're saving money to move from here. And just sitting here all day with no money, no way out, it drives you crazy. One thing I can say to mothers that's lost their children, talk to your significant other while you sitting there waiting to give birth to your baby. And I know it's hard, but talk about y'all future plan because you need to know what you're going to do. Like I told him, I understand that the Depo is bad for me and it's in my system and I want it out because I want to get pregnant ASAP. It's not always meant for that. I'm glad that we didn't have a baby right after we lost Madison because I wouldn't have had time to grieve. I'm still grieving, but at the same time, it's more of where you have a baby, you're worried about that baby, and then the next thing you know, you burnt out, you crying, you feel like you're going crazy. You're going to go crazy anyway because you already lost the baby, but you feel like you're going crazy because you're trying to grieve a baby and be happy about another baby. But like I said, my word of advice to mothers that lost their child and fathers that lost their child, make sure y'all communicate and know what y'all are going to do. But thank y'all for watching. Like I said, 2 periods back to back, so we're going to see if the next one, I've been cramping for the past few days. Because I've had 2 periods back to back, I can ovulate whenever. I can have a period whenever. So the next video pretty much won't be until I have another period, so I can tell y'all what's going on. So thank y'all for watching. I appreciate y'all watching. Peace and baby dust.